Welcome to this edition of the Tunde podcast, the Nigerian theatre witnesses to history. And our guest continues to be Prince Tunde ODUNLADE, the internationally acclaimed artist who is also the owner of the well-known Tunde ODUNLADE Art Gallery in the center of Ibadan at Bodija in Ibadan, where a lot of activities in the art scene take place now. Now, Tunde ODUNLADE was speaking to us about the dimensions of his art and those who are influencing his decisions. He spoke about Professor Armstrong and Dr. Sybil James. He has a courtyard at the Institute of African Studies at the University of Ibadan, where he is having exhibitions and having shows on a regular basis. But how will they fully affect him and situate him in who he is today? Let's get back with Tunde ODUNLADE on this episode of the Nigerian Theatre Witnesses to History. He'll be witnessing to us as others have done and others will do still after him, to let us know how the Nigerian theatre scene has grown. And you can join us for fresh episodes on Thursdays in the evening, when we'll bring witnesses to Nigerian history to you. You can join us, like the program, and then click on the subscribe button so that you can be given a notification when new episodes are coming up. Right now, let's join Tunde ODUNLADE again.
With Professor Armstrong, I met this couple, Professor James and Virginia Kennedy. Not knowing who they were, even though I know the husband was a reverend and the wife was an activist of some sort, but didn't know how well connected they are. And I had spent a great deal of time with them when they were in Ibadan. They visited my studio at Shasha, So when they left, we were still corresponding. Even though you corresponded them by writing letters.
Yeah.
So when I now had the opportunity of going to Atlanta, I see how they are contact. So I contacted them and they were so happy. So they just came straight to get me from the hotel. The very last day the conference was over, because I was put up in an hotel by our IRA. So they came to get me and took me to their house. Then I said, somebody had given me the number for Tony Kate Bambara. Oh, they said that's a very, very well-known name. And they asked one or two people, and somebody said, I know where Tony lives. And so we drove down to Auntie Tony's house. Immediately I met Auntie Tony, mentioning Sikini, rest is academics. And so Tony said, oh, you have to meet Auntie. That's what everybody call Andrew Young. You have to meet Andy. So she arranged for a lunch to meet Andy in his favorite restaurant, and then took me to some galleries around, and I found two galleries who were very much interested in my work.
That's right.
And that just opened all doors to Atlanta, and I'm still maintaining those contacts till today. That you almost want to call my name an household name in Atlanta, Georgia, because I've done a lot there. So, after the first trip, of course, I went to New York, went to New York, stayed with some friends in New York, traveled to California on the same trip. Every door was just opening. I must have been to about 21 states in 6 weeks.
21 states.
On my first trip.
You were busy.
Yeah, I was really sometimes I will wake up and I will not remember where I was last night.
Wow.
Because people were just interested. Anybody they send photo of my work too. We say, oh, I'd like to meet him. Or they talk to him, the person, about my work, oh, would you like to visit? So that was how doors to America opened. And ever since, I've been a part of the story in America, and America has been my story. And since then, I started seeing opening to do courses in different universities, like Iowa State University, you know, University of New Mexico, you know, different places I was doing different courses depending on what I need at that particular time.
That's right.
Iowa was anthropology. So I took some courses in anthropology at Iowa State University. My professor, Professor Norma Wood, her work is in this room here because she's also an artist. She's in her 90s now.
Okay.
And I still visit Iowa State University.
You still keep...
I still keep that contact. Yes. And so did different courses in different universities that just was like, this is it. This is what I need for my life. I ended up directing several plays, writing several plays that I directed. Like for instance, there was a time when I was artist in residence at Stillman College in Tuscaloosa, Alabama.
When was that?
That was 1986. I still have a record of it. 1986 was the first time, and for 6 weeks. Then the second time was in 1989, and it was Andrew W. Mellon Foundation grant.
Right.
That kept bringing me back. And I received several grants from Ford Foundation, Rockefeller Foundation, Carnegie Foundation. Where was it? MacArthur Foundation. Then, of course, the one I just mentioned earlier. So I received a lot of grants to do exhibition, to hold workshops, to do all kinds of things.
Then, what was the response of the people to the things you directed?
Oh, it was great. The one I directed, I call it What's Your Opinion? I wrote it and directed.
Okay.
That's part of my residency agreement.
Right.
So it was fantastic. Fantastic. The college just loved it. And that was when I in fact met Mpo Tutu, the daughter of Bishop Tutu.
Right.
Which I now later met Bishop Tutu of blessed memory at the Atlanta 96, because I was the chosen artist to showcase his artwork at the Africa Olympic House.
Right.
At the Atlanta 96 show.
Yeah.
Right on the Centennial Park, where they held. So Bishop Tutu and a host of these African leaders came there. And so I had the opportunity of meeting him and his wife. And I whispered into his ears that I knew the person. He said, who? I said, Mpo Tutu. Oh! She went and got his wife and started speaking in their native language. And where was I? Hugged me. You know our daughter? Mpo Tutu is the director of Phelps Stokes Fund in New York.
Oh, really?
And so she came to Alabama the same time when I was a resident artist there. So we were both giving awards.
That's right. That's right.
And I remember meeting Chiraza Kokoya, then Adifo, they were all the LOC for.
Adifo was the chairman of the Nigerian Olympic
LOC, Local Organizing Committee for Nigeria. So, true that a group that I used to perform with, ODUNLADE Dance Ensemble. So they came, they were invited to the Africa Olympic House, you know, and I danced. And Razak Okoya came and gave me $200.
Wow.
And Adifo gave me $100. Bishop Desmond Tutu came to hug me, you know, having danced, you know. And so, like that, it hasn't been the same ever since. And somebody saw my work and said, the Smithsonian must have you. From the different sojourning.
Okay, interactions all over the States.
So I was sent to the Smithsonian. And I became immediately, you know, part of the library setup of the Smithsonian, because they were compiling a book, Who is You Nigerian Artist? A bibliography. So I became a part of that.
Yeah, you discussed that with me some time ago.
Yes. Jane Stanley is the chief librarian for the Smithsonian. And the Bernice Kelly was diagnosed to have cancer and a terminal one. So she wasn't going to live for too long after that. So she decided that I would do something that would put my name in gold forever. So she wasn't going to live for too long after that. So she decided that I would do something that would put my name in gold forever. So she then decided to do a who is who bibliography on Nigerian artists. And there are over 350 listed, which I was responsible for about 33 artists. That is, supply them with
The
information
materials.
And I have 3 pages in that book. So that just put me on the high pedestal of Smithsonian. So everything anybody may want to do about Nigeria, so much that even when Smithsonian turned 50 years, they call it 50, National African Art is 50. I was a chosen artist from Africa who, you know, did a lot of things to showcase my work, to hold workshop, you know, give lecture. And my work has been hanging in different museums around the world. National Jordan Gallery of Art in Amman, Jordan. I think they got my work from England in a gallery that I work with there, October Gallery. And so it's hanging there. Then also Victoria and Albert Museum in London, they got my work from October Gallery. And I think Oxford University and several other universities around the world who have my works in their collection. So I'm happy and I'm grateful that I'm able to do what I'm doing. But guess what? My best is yet to come.
I know, because the Tunde ODUNLADE Arts Gallery keeps on being vibrant.
Thank you.
And attracting a lot of talents, budding talents.
Thank you.
That will make this part of their own history.
Yes.
As they explode on the stage.
Yes.
How are you finding the kind of commitment that you see in present day artists, performers? Because I've seen musicians here, I've seen dramatists.
Yes. Who says Nigerian youths are not talented? Who says Nigerian youth don't have, you know, things to offer? Some great things. That's what this place has shown me. You know, when I started this place, I would describe this such as, I wrote a sentence, but I get a paragraph in return. That's what this center has turned out to be.
Yeah, that's right.
I've been seeing all kinds of people coming through to this gallery who have learned about it, either on the internet or words of mouth or referral and so on and so forth. And when they come, they are like, am I in Lagos or in London? I say, no, you are right here in Ibadan. Wow.
Where it happens.
Where it happens. And where it began.
Where it started.
Where it started. You know, and I will take them around. So I take joy in taking them around, in telling them what all these arts are all about. And more artists are coming every day. Now I have about 80 artists in this gallery.
80 of them
80
represented here.
Represented in this gallery. 80 artists. And
I was talking with someone about this particular venue, and I was exchanging with the person that the first time the prime owner of this building, the original owner, would allow art. He was an architect.
Yeah, he was an architect.
But in 1980, he permitted us to record a drama for NTA Ibadan.
Yeah.
I was.
See, I'm not surprised.
I was there. Tunde Ilano
Yes.
Sumbo Maringo.
This is their home.
Yeah.
He made this place.
All this place,
Yes.
place, we turned it into theater location.
Of all possibilities.
All possibilities.
Yes.
And we had a great artist,
Yes.
a camera artist,
Yes.
as a videographer
Yes.
from NTA then. Battery is too long.
No, you can talk,
Huh?
Go.
So, Mr. Is it Odubono? I think it was Odubono or something. Fantastic, but it's late now.
Okay.
And we worked, I remember this particular time, we worked overnight.
Wow. I'm not surprised.
The man worked and worked, and on the chair there,
Yes.
he collapsed and slept.
Oh, wow. Wow.
So he told us,
He was
don't wake me.
Wonder. I'm still alive.
He said, don't wake me.
I wake up when I'm ready.
I will wake up when I'm good. I need about 2 hours. So
Wow.
I'm not surprised
That this place turned into what it has become.
That was what the place
So
said.
it was,
He
the
said,
place was
art,
born to,
art. This place was supposed to host art.
yes, it was
And
meant
its
to be.
creativity, because even in the environment, it was a unique
Yes,
piece
yes,
of artwork.
Yes.
In Bodija and in Badon.
in Bodija and Ibadan, yes.
And
Yes.
see, I'm sure that brother be the architect.
Oh yeah, he's happy wherever he is.
Foriji will be happy,
Happy wherever he is. That my dream kept
Yeah.
living forever. You know, I'm not surprised what you just said, because this house, I first entered into this house in 1983. And it was a time when Karen James Cody, who was Dr. James' niece, she was working for this man who owned Leventis United.
Oh, Mastrudis, John Mastrudis.
She was working as a secretary. And of course, John Mastrudis and Brother Mia,
Close.
they were very close.
Very close.
So when Karen was going, of course, Karen, my cousin, by virtue of
by virtue of Sybil James.
Sybil James. So when she was going back to the US, then John gave her a send off, and we went to the cabin restaurant. All of us, my wife was still not my wife then, you know. We were
She was overseeing.
Overseeing me at the time. So after the cabin restaurant encounter, you know, good time, then we came here, and that was my first time. So little did I know that I'm going to end up here. And I came here and I admire this place so much.
Very
so
beautiful.
When the opportunity to take over this place came, you know, I had to do a lot of, you know, renovation, there are changing around of stuff, in order to suit the purpose for which I needed it for. So,
I don't know. I think that there's always a connection.
Yes.
With these kinds of spaces.
Yes.
Nigeria has a social care policy,
Okay.
that encompasses all these things you're talking about.
Yes.
It's not being implemented.
No.
We've had it, I think, since under Gawan.
Yes.
Part of those things in the book are just being implemented piecemeal, even now.
Okay.
The issue of having access for people who are not too mobile, and in fact, stipulation was made for all government buildings to have pieces of artwork.
You know, you are very
incorporated into
you are
that.
very. Just recently, I was just trying to bring that back there, and I've involved Dr. Yemi Farumbi and a host of others like that. That in our constitution, there is an act that every public building must have 5% of the budget go into putting art in that building.
Yes.
And then in the course of my research, I now found out that yes, it is true, and that it was enacted during President Babangida's days, because that time, that was when they founded National Gallery of Arts. So the National Gallery,
that thing was in that policy.
Yes,
it was never
implemented.
Papa Opola,
you know what? Let me tell you
gave that to me, and I actually did a review of the book in Tribune. I'm talking of 1998 or something. I think that was 1998 that I did this review, because I was shocked that we had this beautiful compilation of things we should do.
Yes,
and we're not doing them.
Let me tell you, the Gallery of Art was saddled with that responsibility, that every art, every public building should have 5%, and even some gift to Nigeria should have X percentage of it goes into supporting art. But do you now know what happened? Society of Nigerian Artists. I shouldn't talk much about this because the case is in court. Society of Nigerian Artists.
Are you a party to the case in court?
No, I'm not.
Okay.
And then National Gallery of Arts came at loggerheads. National Gallery of Art was saddled with that responsibility. The Society of Nigerian Artists said that, look, National Gallery of Art, you cannot be the one. The case was taken to the National Assembly for debate. And it passed through the first reading, second reading. They were public hearing when National Gallery of Arts and Society of Nigerian Artists could not agree. And that's why the case is still pending for years now. I think the Society of Nigerian Artists felt that National Gallery should have its board with artists, practicing artists on the board, who will help administer the funding. So, like I said, the case is in court, so I can't talk much about it. But I can talk at least to the level it has gotten to. First reading, second reading, and it was at the public hearing that it made a stalemate, that became a stalemate. You know. So, one would have, another thing, National Gallery of Art is supposed to be in every state. The National Museum, National Gallery of Art. Osogbo has one, and has National Museum. Abeokuta has National Gallery and National Museum. Ilorin has its own. Lagos has its own. Ibadan does not have National Gallery of Art. So I'm at the point now that I'm beginning to ask questions. Why has Ibadan not gotten its own National Gallery of Art, in spite of its importance in the development of art and culture in Nigeria? So I think I'm asking everybody to please come together to join me in ensuring that Ibadan gets its rightful position.
Maybe if we have that, we can have some drive.
Yes.
In the funding, in the direction that art is represented, that people are made aware that we have proper Nigerian.
So if the National Gallery of Ibadan is situated here in Ibadan, according to the stipulation, it means that local artists of Ibadan and environment, if you like, on your state, will have their work represented in that place. Then it will lessen the burden that people like us are facing. Because there are lots and lots of artists in Ibadan. I just told you we have 80 artists in this gallery, and more are still coming. Just yesterday, 5 artists, group of 5, brought their works, showing it to me on telephone, and a couple of them brought their physical work, and I saw them and I'm like, wait a minute, and you guys are here in Ibadan. So we are still counting, but very little opportunity for them.
It's a good place for us to end today's edition with the desire to start the Ibadan Gallery of Arts. According to Prince Tunde ODUNLADE, who is a witness on this episode, the Ibadan Gallery of Arts will be a platform for all arts, for all artists to showcase themselves and bring them into national consciousness. That's an exciting thing, and that's a great movement for arts in Ibadan. Ibadan has always led in the way that we have seen the arts move in very diverse ways. And it's going to be interesting to hear more about this desire and how it will be achieved on the next episode of the Nigerian Theatre Witnesses to History on the Tunde Laniyan podcast. So join us same time next week, next Thursday, when we bring you the concluding part of our discussion with this great international artist who has been exposed in several cities of the world and who is bringing his experience to bear on the national art scene.